Hey everybody, it's Gamingfool12. I'm here with a vlog. First time I decided to do this. First off, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting me, all of my friends who've been looking at my videos, all my subscribers, and even the lurkers out there who haven't yet decided to become a friend yet. I want to thank you all because it's really exciting to see all the new stuff that's going on my channel, all the just views and exciting stuff that you guys, you PM me or say on my videos. I appreciate every moment of it. That said, it moves on to the main point of why I'm making this vlog. Um, uh, a lot of my friends have been asking what's been going on lately, and I decided instead of telling each one of them individually, I'd make a vlog about it. So, what has been going on with me is, for those of you who don't know, the new people especially, I have autism, which basically means I have trouble processing information, and I get overwhelmed very easily. That said, sometimes when I'm overwhelmed, I freak out. I don't understand where I am or what I'm doing, and I'll come back to reality not knowing where I am or what I've been doing, which has happened numerous times in the last week. I'm fuzzy on the information, but whatever has happened has been traumatic enough for me that I have actually had a mental breakdown. I don't know a lot of what has happened, so to fill in the blanks for me and everyone else, I'm going to have my wife come on and share with you what has happened most recently for me. So, she'll be on in just a moment.
Alright, hi, I'm Christy. I'm Matt's fiance wife. Whenever we're married in our hearts, and all the legal and technical stuff doesn't matter as much to us. But anyway, um, it's been a really rough week. On Monday night he fell and hit his head. He was dizzy, and we think that that's probably because he has some mystery medical condition where he tends to get dizzy and pass out a lot. But when he hit his head and came back into consciousness, he didn't know who I was, and that was scary. And he didn't know who his family was, and he actually fought with us because we were trying to keep him inside the house, and he got away and then he ran, and I chased after him with my phone and I called 911 because I didn't know what was going on in his head, or what was going on. He looked like he was really scared and confused, and so that was a really scary night. Eventually the sheriffs came and they called the paramedics to come too, and a couple of times while I was running after Matt, he looked back, but he just kept running. So he saw me, but I think he probably still didn't even recognize me and thought that I was like a scary stranger or something. And so that was hard to deal with, But eventually the sheriff showed up and they were able to, well, now I'm calling it, they intercepted him. So they were able to catch up with him and get him to sit down, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. I had told them when they arrived what I thought was going on about, having fallen and hit his head, and that he was scared and confused and didn't know who I was and all that. So, yeah, ended up that he had to go to the hospital because any of us were not sure if he was able to make sound decisions for himself, especially since he hit his head. And he went for over an hour without knowing who I was. So we ended up at the hospital where they ran medical tests and everything, but all of that came back clear. So they didn't find anything medically, And that's kind of been the story of Matt's life. Is a lot of the times when something's going on medically, they can't find anything wrong, even though like he has these spells where he passes out. So we're just trying to figure all that out. Anyway, after he got released, we came home, and then that was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and so we woke up a little after noon that same day, and again he didn't recognize me, and I was like, oh my gosh, not again. And instead of trying to talk to him like I had the night before, I just kind of left him alone. I kept an eye on him just to make sure he wasn't like hurting himself or anything, but I left him alone because I could tell he was scared. And finally, about 45 minutes after he woke up, he got my attention and kind of waved me over to come sit by him. And so then we tried to communicate and figure out what was going on. It was apparent that he didn't know who I was still, and he was really confused. He uses sign language, especially when he's in that place where he's really scared and confused. And I know enough that I can most of the time understand him. And so we were able to communicate, and I was able to talk to him because he could hear me. So I told him, who I was, and that I just wanted to help him feel better and all of that. So he kind of started trusting me again, and after about 2 hours after he woke up, he finally remembered who I was, and he could tell me details about our relationship that um, we haven't talked about like in a long time. So I knew that he could remember again. And that night, we ended up going for a ride in the car. That is something that usually helps him calm down. And unfortunately, he had some sort of panic attack while we were in the car. And he actually tried to get out of the car while we were driving down the freeway. So that was really scary too. Um, I ended up pulling over onto the side of the freeway, and he got out of the car and walked down an embankment. And he was down there just kind of walking back and forth for 10 or 15 minutes, I think. And he came back up the hill towards the car, but he wasn't like responding to me. And he put his hands over his ears, and I think that the noise from the traffic was probably bothering him. But eventually he turned back towards me, and I kind of waved him over towards the car and said, go ahead and get in, it'll be quieter in there. And so he got in, and we were able to go home. And let's see, that was Tuesday. And the next morning, we had an emergency appointment with his psychiatrist. And my brain was so foggy from everything we'd already been through. Plus, I was on like a huge lack of sleep. I went for 40 hours with only 3 hours of sleep. And that was split up between 2 or 3 different sessions. So I was beginning to be incoherent myself, at least in my thinking. And so when we got to the doctor's appointment, I wasn't able to communicate very well, what was going on. And Matt was having trouble too. And Matt had like a shutdown where he wasn't communicating. And so we had a very unproductive appointment. That we figured out that the leading up to the event on Monday night, it may have been partially from a lack of sleep because he didn't get a lot of sleep over the last week. And so the doctor was trying to say, well, make a calm environment and take a bath before bed and all this stuff about, getting better sleep. But we're kind of way past that. So we weren't able to communicate that though.
Hey guys, it's Gamingfool12. We gotta split the clip into 2 separate videos, so the rest of the story will be in part 2. I thank you guys for watching.